We are now at the top of Iroquois Park. Long ago, this whole place used to be called Burnt Knob, and it's a knobs. Lots of folks have heard of Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. It's a geological term for a foothill. And up here, the underlying rock is totally different. It's sandstone and siltstone underneath. It's not limestone like a lot of the rest of the county is. And instead of heavy clay content, it's loess. Loess is a German term for tiny particulates of dust that over tens of thousands of years have blown over from the Great Plains and built up the soil layer here. But it's highly erodible, very thin soil, and so totally different plants grow up here. Native tribes used to burn the grasslands up here to keep it in grass to attract more game as a hunting grounds, and that's where this park originally got that name, Burnt Knob. Another name for the park used to be Jacob's Folly, and over here we have Jacob's Lodge, which is named after Mayor Jacob, who was the mayor in the 1880s who actually purchased the land that became Iroquois Park even before Olmsted came to design it. I'm also in an open lawn space with lots of really beautiful specimen trees, lots of oaks and hickories up here that are planted spaced out enough where they can grow into their true form. So there's some really remarkable trees up here before we even get into the 23-acre tallgrass prairie that's called Summit Field, and that's what we'll see next. So Summit Field is a 23-acre tallgrass prairie. These are warm season plants, grasses and wildflowers that will grow, 6 to 8 feet tall at times, and it's really unique habitat that's totally different from the heavily wooded areas that comprise most of Iroquois Park. You can see there's a little gravel loop road that leads in, and there's actually a picnic shelter over there. And another piece of Summit Field is that there are these vernal pools, these ponds that hold water, even though we're pretty high elevation. This is actually the second highest point in all of Jefferson County behind a place at Jefferson Forest. This is what's called a perched aquifer, where because there is not a lot of limestone underneath, the water will sit up here and it doesn't percolate down. And so we have these catch pools way up here on this top plateau of our area. And that's going to be really great habitat for a lot of amphibians. We have tons of frogs like spring peepers, a lot of salamanders, just a lot of great habitat. We've got a lot of willows that grow around here, mallow, that really like these sort of wet edges of our small ponds at Summit Field. So down here, right on the edge of the pond, we have what's called mallow, common mallow. A lot of folks have heard of marsh mallows before, but this will start to grow throughout the summer months. We also have a lot of sedges. They're these kind of grass-like looking wetland plants. And we have a lot of willows that really like to ring the edge of the pond here. Willows are a great pollinator species. So this is just one small part of Summit Field, but you can see where last year's grasses have kind of fallen down, and we have a lot of the new sprouts coming up. So often we'll try and mow up here, or on occasion we'll even burn the grasslands to get rid of all the thatch, all the built up biomass, so that there's blank canvas for the perennial roots to send up new shoots for the next season. So we have a lot of grasses like big bluestem, little bluestem, Indian grass, switchgrass, and then we have a lot of wildflowers like false indigo, also known as baptisia. We have a lot of goldenrod up here. We have Rattlesnake Master. There's a lot of really cool wildflowers that grow in this area as well as the grasses. So you see this slope down towards this catch pond. It was actually engineered that way back in the 90s. For many years this was flatter and it was just mowed turf grass that not many people used. And so as we started to convert this into better habitat for animals and to recreate this prairie space up here, we had to form the land with slopes and drainages and catch ponds, all with big bulldozers. So because this is such a vastly different area than most of the woodlands of Iroquois Park, it really offers a unique habitat opportunities for a lot of animals. So of course there's tons of pollinators that come up here. There's milkweeds, and so monarch butterflies come through. A lot of different insect species. Those ponds offer a unique type of habitat as well. But then we get a ton of migratory birds that come through. Just like at the Nelderoth Bird Sanctuary, we get lots of warblers and songbirds that come through in the spring and the fall. There's a lot of ground nesting birds here. We see woodcocks a lot of the times up here. There's a lot of snakes. Don't be freaked out, but that's good. Anywhere where you have a lot of frog population, you're going to have snakes, and just a lot of really cool animals that make their home up here at the top of Iroquois Park. So we've got some cool grasses up here, like broom sedge. We've got the seed heads of big bluestem here. And then we've got some seed pods from some of our wildflowers. This is Black-Eyed Susan, Rudbeckia, a lot of folks know that one. And then we've got Rattlesnake Master, which is a really cool, almost yucca looking plant. And it has nothing to do with rattlesnakes. The early settlers thought that it was a good remedy for snake bites, but it's a really beautiful plant.